Good afternoon, everyone, or is it good evening? However you want to call it. But what is going on? Happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Hopefully, you're all having a great day. Hopefully, you're all having a good week. Hopefully, you all get that long, extended weekend. Hopefully, it's been a short week for some of you. So, what is going on, folks? What is going on? I decided not to do a pregame or a play-by-play today. I had to work last night, so I did really. So therefore I didn't call the game. Just I'm a little tired, so wanted to catch up on some rest. I'm not going to be live for too long. I'm going to try and keep it to about a half hour or so. But shout out to the folks in the chat. Make sure you all hit the like button, hit the subscribe, share this channel out with everybody you know. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's continue growing this channel out. But yeah, another painful loss for the New York Yankees. This is their 5th straight loss in a row. Just sad, really. It's beyond sad. This is a big drought that they're going through, and they need to bounce out of it. I mean, at least. And I'm not trying to hide the fact that this team's been playing bad, but it's nice to see that in the last 3 games, even despite the losses, the bats have been coming through, but it's still not enough. There needs to be more, right? And the pitching has not exactly been stellar for the Yankees, right? The bullpen has been no doubt a bit of a mess as of late. And it sucks to not have Fernando Cruz. And, now Clark Schmidt is on the 15-day IL with forearm tightness. Hopefully that's just what it is. It's forearm tightness. It's nothing worse. What did the Yankees do at this point? Aaron Boone was saying that Cam Schlittler could be in the mix. So to be called up potentially. Again, we'll see what the Yankees decide. But, you're down Schmidt, you're down Yarborough. Luis Hill is slowly starting to, he'll start his rehab games next week. It sucks that the pitching has taken some damage here, and the bullpen just couldn't hold it down for the Yankees. The Yankees take a lead and then the Mets come right back. And unfortunately, Luke Weaver, right? I'm not going to just only pick on him, but Luke Weaver, since he's been back from the IL, he has not looked sharp. He has not been the Luke Weaver that we all know. Hopefully he figures it out. Hopefully he bounces out of it because we need him. We need him. Really the only the bright spot in the bullpen has really been Fernando Cruz, but again, unfortunately he's hurt, right, with an oblique strain. But the other bright spot, even though he had that wild pitch, was Devin Williams. He's really been the only other pitcher that's been actually pitching a lot better coming out of the bullpen. He started out the season rough, but he's been looking better. Sorry about that. I got the sun really shining through the blinds. But, yeah, Weaver, I don't know why. I was watching the game, and Weaver got brought in. I wasn't really sure about that decision. I didn't quite agree with that decision. But then again, who do you go with? I mean, you could have brought in Scott Effross, right? The reason why I'm saying Scott Effross is because he just got called up. He's a fresh arm. Maybe you could have had that matchup with McNeil. But I understand, why Boone went with Weaver, because he's your guy. He could pitch multiple innings. You trust him in those situations. But, lately, before giving up that home run, Weaver's ERA after coming back from IL was over 10. So, Weaver has not been on his game since he's been back, unfortunately. And, again, it's great to see the Yankees bats was alive, right? Was alive. I mean, particularly with Jason Dominguez, who, had a couple of home runs, went 2 for 4. I mean, he was the bright spot in the lineup, really. I mean, he made it happen at the leadoff spot. Dominguez, I know some folks, right, some fans were saying, they should put Dominguez at the leadoff spot. My thing was let him prove himself that he can hit, and he has been proving himself. And had a couple of home runs off the leadoff spot. I'm not saying that's going to happen every single time, but, I like the fact that, putting Dominguez at the leadoff spot, he could get on base. He could create those opportunities for guys like, Judge or Bellinger or whoever's batting behind him, whether it's Bellinger or Judge or, Ben Rice. So, I think Dominguez, I think he's the guy, unless he, craps the bed at the leadoff spot. I think right now he's the guy. The Yankees haven't had anybody that can lead off, really. So that's all I got to say about that. But real quick, let me say what's up to the chat real quick. Let me say what's up. I do appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, I'm not gonna be live for too long. It is the 4th, so I want everybody to go out and still enjoy themselves. Be safe, right? So we got OG Giku in the building. What is up? Welkins in the building. What is up? We got Jared in the building. What is up? Katie, what is going on? Who else we got in the chat? Dev Finch. We got Jeffy. Who else we got? We got Yassine. We're just going down the chat. Who else we got? Oh, Jonathan's in the chat too. What's up, Jonathan? But yeah, so the Yankees right now, their record as of right now, they're 48-40. They fell to third place just like that, folks. They fell to third place. Listen, granted, they're not completely out. They're not far behind, but they could easily fall behind if they don't get it together. If they don't start winning some games, things could unravel. Absolutely, they could unravel. What's up, D-Rels? What's going on? How's it going? I think it might be my first time seeing you. If it is, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. If you have been here and I don't remember, I do apologize. But what's up, man? But yeah, the bullpen is definitely it's an issue, right? The bullpen's been it's been an incomplete bullpen the whole entire season, right? I've been saying this. The bullpen's been able to hold up, and even during the season, I said that that the bullpen still needs to be addressed at the deadline. They need to get 2 arms. I mean, shoot, I would almost say 3 arms. What up, Smokey Low? He says he made $350 from the Yankees. Unbelievable collapse. Very nice. But I know I've been saying that the Yankees need 2 bullpen arms, but it might have to be 3. We'll see what they do at the deadline. The deadline can't come, soon enough. Hopefully the Yankees. Sco, good game. What's up, Sco? Oh, and you're a Yankees fan, Smokey Low? Wow, that's crazy, bro. I bet it did hurt, man. I mean, it hurt us fans. I mean, a lot of fans are fed up, man. They're ready to, they're ready to, write the season off. Some of them, not all of them. I mean, I'm not going to say that this team is completely out of the race yet. When it's, there's still a long way to go, but still, with it being a long way to go, they can't, once again, they can't keep losing games like this. I wasn't live for the game, Sco. It's like I said at the beginning of the show, man. I had to work last night, and I had to, I was pretty tired, dude. I just didn't really have the energy, so I decided to take today to rest. And I had some other stuff that I had going on this afternoon too, so I wasn't going to really have time. That 2-run homer was the nail in the coffin. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was just, every time it's like the Yankees, the Yankees take this lead and take a lead, and every time you think the Yankees got it, they just give the lead right back. They give up the lead and they start to implode. Or if they're down by one run, they make it worse on themselves, right? I mean, again, that's just been the type of games that the Yankees have been playing, and they just can't seem to secure wins. Their last win was on Sunday against the Athletics. They got swept against the they got swept against the Blue Jays in a 4-game set. What's going to happen in this series against the Mets? They already lost today. So what is the result of the next 2 games? So it's hard to say, but my friend Brad from X, he sent me this thing this morning. So this was prior to today's game. So this was a tweet put out by Max Goodman. He said since June 12th. So since June 12th, the Yankees have the most plate appearances in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position. And here's where they rank. Again, this was prior to today's game, where they rank with runners in scoring position in that span. They had a 174 batting average, which was in last place, a 265 on-base percentage. They were 29th in this span with runners in scoring position, 251 slugging, 516 OPS, 43 WRC plus, 54 runs. The runs, they were tied for 22nd. WRC plus, OPS, slugging, and on-base percentage, they were 29th since June 12th. Batting average, they were dead last. What's up there, Daniel Berry? So it's just, the bats need to come around. Again, within the last few games, the bats have been showing a little bit of life, but it just isn't enough. Now it's just like the pitching is not able to hold it down. So, the bullpen's not been great. The starting pitching hasn't been stellar either, right, this week. Although, in today's performance, Marcus Stroman, when he went 5 innings, he gave up 7 hits, only 3, gave up the 3 runs, struck out 4 and walked 1. I mean, all things considered, I feel like that's a fine job by me, but it was all on the bullpen to try and to hold this lead, and the Yankees were holding this lead till Luke Weaver gave up that 2-run home run, and as that happened, I'm like, I know it ain't over till it's over, but it's games like this where I'm just like, man, I don't see the Yankees coming back. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Smokey Low says, and is Amir or is Volpe a double play machine and Boone won't move him? I mean, he is a double play machine, no doubt about that. Volpe's been struggling, man. If Smokey Low, if you're ever in my live streams, you'll see folks in my live stream, go after Volpe. You'll see some folks go after Volpe, and Volpe has been he's not been playing good baseball. Really, this season's it hasn't been a great one for him. I mean, he went 0 for 3 today. His batting average right now is at 222. So his batting average has dipped big time. Dominguez today went 2 for 4, had a couple of homers. He had 2 home runs. Aaron Judge went 2 for 4 with a homer. Bellinger went 1 for 4. He hit a homer. Bellinger's been a bright spot in this lineup amongst the bats. He's been hitting well in the month of May, hit well in the month of June. So far, so good here in the month of July, right? It's only, we're only 4 days in. Giancarlo Stanton went 0 for 3. The thing with Giancarlo, it does take him a little bit to get going. Jazz Chisholm Jr., another bright spot since he's been back, right? He's 2 for 4 today. Goldschmidt, he's been a little bit progressing as of late. He went 0 for 4. JC Oscara went 0 for 2. Volpe 0 for 3. LeMahieu 1 for 4. So, I mean, there was a few bats that played well, that did well, but still, there's work that needs to be done with the offense, but there's also work that needs to be done with the pitching. I don't know what the Yankees are gonna do now. I mean, once again, Schmidt's gonna be out 15 games. He's gonna be on the 15-day IL. When does Yarbrough come back? He was placed on the IL. Fernando Cruz, he was placed on the IL. So the pitching's been taking some damage for the Yankees. So the pitching has been not been exact. Once again, it hasn't been exactly great. So they need to figure this out. But it's didn't you hear he got taken out out of yesterday's game? He had forearm tightness, and the Yankees put him on the 15-day IL. And they might call up Cam Schlittler. So there's a possible. Boone said he's in the mix. So anybody who's been following Cam, the minor leagues, Cam Schlittler's been killing it down there. Bellinger and Judge constantly walked is the only reason we've honestly been competitive as of late. I mean, their bats are always consistent. Bellinger's been fantastic. You know what I mean? He's been fantastic. He had a slow start to the year, but I remember beginning of May, his batting average was under 200, but then he just started to fire up. After the beginning of May, You know what's funny about this, Welkin? A lot of fans, I remember last year, were asking a question of should the Yankees extend Volpe, and some fans were all for it. I was one that's I don't want to say I was the only one, but I was definitely saying no way. I got to see more. I got to see more from Volpe. You know what I mean? And that was after when the Royals extended Bobby Witt Jr. And I was just like, no way you extend Volpe. I'm sorry, but I like Volpe. I'm not trying to bash the guy. I want this guy to play well. I want him to succeed. Buckeye, what's up, my friend? He says we have burned out our pitchers. Yeah, the pitching is hurting right now. Yeah, Clark Schmidt, he's hurt. Yeah, he got taken out of yesterday's game with forearm tightness. Now he's on the 15-day IL. He was supposed to get an MRI today. I don't know if there was any news as far as the result goes, but he was supposed to get an MRI today. Again, I don't know if anything was said. But I feel like Yankees losing these games. It's just like, yeah, the teams are finding ways, but I feel like in some of these games, the Yankees are beating themselves. I really believe that. I feel like the Yankees are totally beating themselves in these games. I mean, sometimes this team is their own worst enemy. I think they get in their own way. And some folks want to say this is like 2023. I don't think so. 2023 was much, 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 much worse. Much worse. 25 is better than 23. Let me know what you all think. Volpe should be fired and we should keep Gleyber. Yeah, but the problem with Gleyber though, man, his defense was costing the Yankees games last season. I mean, he turned it around in the second half of the season. He was looking good. His bat started to come around. But, I was definitely one to say that they're not going to give Gleyber a long-term contract. And, really, like when you think about it, it took him a while to, for a team to sign him. He eventually signed with the Tigers only on a 1-year deal though. So, I know he was looking, he wanted to stay with the Yankees, and I like Gleyber Torres. Don't get me wrong. I like Gleyber Torres. I do. But sometimes his lack of defense at second base was costing Yankees games last year. And sometimes lack of hustle was a little bit of a problem too. So, I prefer Jazz at second, where he absolutely belongs. I don't like this thing of Jazz playing third. They really need to switch that. Jazz needs to play second base. That's all there is to it. Send him down to the minors and let him develop. He's a young player. That might be the thing to do, man. That might be the thing to do. I don't see them. The Yankees aren't going to do it though. Like that's the thing. The Yankees are going to send this guy back down, but he is his number. He has regressed this year. Rookie season, I'm not going to say nothing, right? I'm never going to, criticize too much about a player who's a rookie. And they don't perform up to, whatever expectations some fans may have. Some fans have unrealistic expectations, but I think Volpe, in his second year last season, I think he looked better, right? There was definitely still some work to do. I mean, year three, and I said it, I think, it's a make or break year. That we can't sign former All-Stars. We need a complete reconstruction in terms of our pitching and management structure. Who are you referring to? Yeah, 2023 had injured Judge. Yeah, well, even with an injured Judge or if Judge wasn't injured, I don't know that. I don't know. I didn't really have too much confidence in the team, honestly. I don't know. 23 was just not. It wasn't that year for me, man. Yeah, I mean, if they don't make it to if the Yankees for some reason don't make it to the postseason, there certainly needs to be some questions asked. There needs to be answers. There needs to be solutions. That's all I'm going to say. What they decide to do, I mean, who knows? Yeah, Dominguez is one, right? He's one of those. He's one of those players. He's performing quite well in his rookie season so far. I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. I said in the offseason, and I know I've said it many times. I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. I said that if he just, if he hits 250 with 20 home runs, that'll be. I would accept that. I would say, you know what, that's totally acceptable. That's totally acceptable. But he's got, let's see, how many home runs? He's got 8 home runs for the season, right? And 271 batting average. Batting average looking really good. OPS of 783, on base percentage of 350. 8 home runs. I mean, even if he doesn't hit 20 home runs, but he's able to maintain that batting average, if he ends, if he was to end at 250, I'd be okay with that. But if he ends, higher than 250, sign me up all day. Peanut says maybe Anthony Volpe is putting too much pressure on himself. Maybe he just can't handle New York. I think he's in his own head is what it boils down to. I think he's overthinking at the plate, and I think he gets a little excited when he has to make a play. When I say getting a little excited, I think he just overreacts to something, or he just doesn't. He just gets in his own head, basically. This year, I mean, I still believe the Yankees make the postseason, winning the World Series. I'm not there yet. You're referring to Brad Ausmus, Matt Blake, Tanner Swanson, Boone. The list goes on. I mean, I don't think Boone's going to go anywhere. I mean, unless if there's a complete collapse of this team this season, then I could probably see it. I know a lot of folks are not fans of Brian Cashman. I know a few folks mentioned Brian Cashman, but Brian Cashman has one more season. After 2026, is his time as GM, is it done? Is it going to be up? Is he going to serve in a different role within the organization, or is he just going to step away? I don't know. And if Cashman's done, right, who takes over as GM, right? And if you get rid of some of the coaching staff, who's going to replace the coaching staff? I always ask these questions, and realistically, I'm really want to know. You looking to move to Florida next year? What up? And shout out to Chef Nick. But I don't really have any. I don't live in Florida, man. Really, the only suggestion I would give you is go hit up the beaches, bro. Enjoy the sunshine, really. And shout out to my man Rodney for the gifted membership. Thank you so much, there, Rodney. You get one of these. You get one of those the DJ air horn. Thank you so much. What up, dude? What's going on? Who received that membership? Goon Collector. So you are the recipient. So congratulations. What's up, Ken? How's it going? Jasmine D, what's up? She's saying Scott Efros had a 1-2-3 inning. I wonder if Weaver lied of not being hurt anymore. I mean, I don't know. Weaver and Mark Leiter have to go now. Oh, thanks, Smokey Low. Smokey Low, I know you're posting from X. If you don't mind, man, hit my go to my homepage and hit the link. It'll get you to my YouTube page. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, man. It would mean a lot to me. But how am I feeling as a fan? I'm right as of late. I've been disappointed. I haven't been happy with how this team has been playing. I'm going to be honest with you. This team, they got the guys to do it. They have the players. It's not like the players that they have is bad, but they're just not putting it together. And I honestly think too, other teams are doing their homework on the New York Yankees. They really are. I think with the analytics and the scouting, they're doing their homework. As you all know, baseball is a game of adjustments. And I appreciate you, Smokey Low. But it's a game of adjustments, and I don't know. There's times where I feel like the Yankees don't do. There might be times that I feel like they're not doing enough adjustments. I really do, and other teams are watching. They're paying attention. So they're studying the Yankees. They get prepared to play against these guys. They make it a point to try and beat these guys. The Yankees are that team, no matter what, year in, year out. Whenever there's always a mission from every team to beat the Yankees, they prepare. I will say that. Ian Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton, unfortunately, he's the one guy that, he's just not cutting it. Last season, he was the Terminator. The guy looked, unstoppable out there. But now, forget it. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's just not it. Once again, the bullpen absolutely needs to get addressed at the deadline. They need some arms. They need some arms, and that I feel like that's going to be the most important thing to look at is bullpen arms. I got a couple of arms in mind for the bullpen. Whether or not the Yankees are going to be able to get them, I don't know. Or the Yankees looking at them, I don't know. The Yankees are certainly going to have to get a third baseman because Jazz belongs at second base. End of story. I'm not saying Jazz is a bad third baseman, but you got to play him at his natural position. Yeah, Ken, I was saying 3. I have 2 names in mind, but they need a third arm. None whatsoever, Rodney. It's Over says they need a new bullpen coach who's on analytics, not old school like Mike Harkey. I mean, I like Mike Harkey. I like Mike Harkey. I like Matt Blake. I do like Matt Blake. Yeah, I don't see the Yankees getting a starting pitcher at the deadline, though. I feel like this deadline is just going to be, slim pickings. Jensen, Henriquez, Bird, or Halverson. Bird is the guy that's on my list. Ken, Jake Bird from the Rockies. I've seen that guy pitch. He throws some heat. And the other guy, because they need a lefty in that bullpen too. One guy that comes to mind, I highly doubt he'll get traded because the Cardinals are still are still, they're still in a playoff hunt, right? Even though we're still in July. Jojo Romero is another guy that I wouldn't mind the Yankees looking at, to get another lefty in the bullpen. And there's a tweet that just came out on X. Jeff Hartlib elected free agency in lieu of accepting an outright assignment. So Jeff Hartlib, who was called up, now he's a free agent. So best of luck to him. Chef Nick says, I feel like there will be more call-ups and DFAs at the deadline. Just don't know who. I mean, like I said, Boone was saying that Schlittler might be in the mix. Cam Schlittler might get called up. So there is a possibility that he could get called up. I mean, the Yankees are thinning out at pitching. They're pretty thin right now at pitching. So they're gonna have to find a way to get through these next few weeks. Yeah, they may need the Yankees may need a starter, Ken. Who's out there though? Like who could they possibly get? And he could, hopefully he doesn't need TJ, but forearm tightness is never really a good sign. Whose pitching situation is worse, Nationals or Yankees? Mally Cat, what's going on? What's up? I don't know. You tell me. Welkin says they need a third baseman and 1 billion arms. Yeah. I mean, Weaver. What are they going to do with Weaver? They're going to continue sticking with him. Weaver needs to they need to figure it out with him. Hopefully he's not hurt. I know he just came back from the IL, and he hasn't looked good. What are they going to do with him? They need to work on him, and Weaver needs to work on his stuff. He hasn't been lights out since he's been back. Possible Abbott from the Reds, Kelly from the D-backs. All right. I might. Those are possibilities there, Ken. At least you didn't say Sandy Alcantara. Jasmine D, possibly. I always say don't rush these guys back, man. Like let them continue recovering. You hate to rush players back and then for them to go back on the IL. Desiree's in the building. What up, Desiree? Yeah, Chef is saying that the Yankees need to trust their farm system more. I think they're gonna trend in that direction. Desiree Chef Nick wants to get some suggestions about Florida. He's thinking about moving out there next year. Oh, Mally Cat, I've been saying that all throughout the live stream. I've been saying that over the last few days is to move Jazz back to second base. That's where he belongs. That's where you need to put him. But yeah, absolutely put Jazz back at second. And the lineup, I mean, and I keep saying this, one thing that needs to continue being consistent is I think Judge should bat third. That's what I think. I think he should consistently be batting third. Ken is saying he has a gut feeling that Weaver still has a hamstring issue when he is driving pitches. They're all over the place. Yeah, Ken, I agree. I think this team, or not this team, but I think Weaver. I don't know. I had this sneaky suspicion that he might have came back too early. I don't know. I know we know he had that hamstring issue, but was he, when he came back, was he being totally honest about how he felt? I'm not sure. But again, Yankees lose another one today, folks. I mean, they lost a game that they should have absolutely won. It's like they're yes, teams are beating them, but I feel like they're beating themselves. Really, they're like they're their own worst enemy. But and I know fans have been saying it sucks to lose on George Steinbrenner's birthday. But yeah, but the Yankees have lost 5 straight games. They've lost 5 straight games. It seems like losing has been the thing. I mean, I'm not saying they're trying to go out there and lose, but they've been losing big time. Yeah, I heard about the Yankees being linked to McMahon, Moncada, Brian Hayes, Luis Rengifo, Eugenio Suarez. I mean, they're linked to a lot of these third basemen that could be available, that could get traded. All good, Giku. All good. It's over says they will lose again tomorrow. Next day they take lead and then Blue lead by the bullpen. I mean, let's hope not, man. Let's hope not. I mean, it would be a heartbreaker if they were to get swept in this series and get swept 2 series in a row, which would put them on a 7-game losing streak. I know the Yankees have Carlos Rodon going on the mound. The Mets have Frankie Montas. I'm just saying the Yankees should be able to do work against Montas. The bats should be able to do work. But the pitching right now needs to hold it down as well. Right now it's remember in the beginning of the year, around April, the pitching was a problem. Adjustments were made. Pitching started to look better. The bats were actually fine. But then, the month of May, everything started to click. Month of June, the bats started to stink. The pitching was really good. Now, it seems like the pitching and the bats, both, not great. They're both struggling from both sides. Yeah, exactly. So, absolutely, Ken. So let me ask you this question: do you think when Boone brought in Luke Weaver, you think he should have gone Scott Effross instead? The reason why I'm asking is because Weaver pitched yesterday, and Effross was just called up. He's a fresh arm, right? The bullpen is spent. You think it would have been better to maybe bring in Scott Efros. I know Weaver typically can pitch multiple innings. I get all that, but again, Efros was the fresh arm. He just got called up. Would you have brought him in, or would you have just left Tim Hill in there? Tim Hill was not bad either. I mean, he didn't give up any hits, no runs. Tim Hill's been looking better. He was struggling. It was a rough start for him. He was struggling out of the bullpen early in the year, but right now his ERA is sitting at 2.54. What's up, Andrew Dang? What's going on there, bud? But yeah, this game was definitely winnable. It was absolutely winnable. Just like last night, just like the night before. It was winnable. But again, they beat themselves. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I mean, they need to break out of this losing streak. They need a breakout. They need a breakout game tomorrow. Right? They need to win desperately tomorrow. They're third place in the AL East right now. And just like that, lose first place. Boom, just like that. Other teams are going to catch up. You can't depend on other teams to lose. You got to start winning these games. I understand every team goes through a slump. It happens. But they're going through the slump right now. Hopefully they break out of it sooner rather than later, or else it's going to be, a rough August, September. Tim Hill, Jonathan Loaisiga, and Devin Williams are the only ones you trust. Loaisiga's he has his good moments, but he also has moments that worry me. Williams, he's looked a lot better. Yeah, he had that wild pitch against Toronto, where, of course, clearly they won. But he's been looking a lot better compared to the beginning of the season. Tim Hill, same thing. He's been looking better too. He's been looking more comfortable. And Ken says, without a doubt, Efros was definitely the one I would have brought in. However, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy, because Efros was the fresh arm. Tim Hill had a good outing going, so I would have just left him in there. Now this is one of those things where I may not necessarily bash Boone the way a lot of fans do, but this is one of the things that I'm saying. I don't always agree with the decisions. Sometimes they're questionable for me. This was the one that was questionable for me. All right, buddy. Well, enjoy it. Enjoy your fourth. Oh, Mally Cat. Oh, man. How do you get the Yankees back on track and start winning games? I mean, well, first off, you need a healthy pitching staff. Right now the pitching staff is thin. The bats, they've been coming around. They're showing life. They're showing that they still exist. But runners in scoring position, still an issue. They need to fix that immediately. Once they figure those things out, they could get back on track. It's as simple as that. And stop making mental errors. Stop making stupid errors. Right, Ken. That's what I'm saying. Weaver, since it's not just the last two games. It's just since he's been off the IL. Before he came in, his ERA was over 10. So, the Yankees, once again, they're thin at pitching. they're thin at pitching right now. Their pitching is a little it's a skeleton staff right now. So don't know what the game plan is here. A long list of mess ups the major league doesn't do. Yeah. The Yankees they got to make things simple. They got to make it simple on themselves, simple on each other. They're making it hard. They're making it complicated. It doesn't need to be this hard. But there needs to be accountability for all. But once again, folks, the Yankees lose, this afternoon's game, 6-5. 5-game losing streak, unacceptable. Losing some games that they should absolutely win. But hopefully they get it right tomorrow. But I'm sure a lot of the fan base doesn't quite have a lot of faith. They probably think, some probably think the season's over. Jasmine D says Scott Efros and Tim Hill were doing so good and Boone took them out. I mean, Efros is he's not going to come in for like multiple innings. He's a one inning guy. Ronnie says leadership stinks. I mean, Peraza's bat's not great, Chef. His defense is spectacular. I like his defense at shortstop is amazing. He plays good defense. I'll give him that. I know Boone didn't want Hill to face Alonso. I would have left him in there. It was 2 outs. I would have left him in there. Unless if there was only a runner on first. Now, if there was runners on first and second, okay, different story. Maybe you do bring in Luke Weaver. But even with a runner on first, I still would have brought in Efros. Like I said, fresh arm out of the pen. That's my take on it. Yeah, question is though, does CC Sabathia want to coach? I don't know. Evan says Boone needs to be fired. Well, again, who do you want as his replacement if he gets fired? Realistically, and don't throw like random names out there who takes his place. Jasmine says Weaver's still hurt. He lied. I mean, it'd be funny if something came out about that and he says, "Oh yeah, I'm hurt." Not 100%. VRJ40 says anyone. Okay. Who's the name, VRJ40? And what's going on? Hopefully you're having a good fourth. Alex Rodriguez. Who's some people? Who are people that are suggesting that? Boone needs to go on the show scared straight to get him in line. Not fired yet. Oh, man. But that's the thing. Who replaces Boone? I mean, I'm just, there's really, I can't think of a name that comes to mind that is available that can run this team like right now. I mean, ideally, nah, I don't want that job, Yasin. That's too stressful. I'm good. I'd rather save my sanity, but I appreciate it. But A-Rod as manager, yeah, I don't know about that. A-Rod's a smart baseball mind. I'll give him that. But I don't know about no way. But if you were serious about that, Yasin, no. I would have loved, the one guy I really would have loved would have been Terry Francona. He's the manager of the Reds. I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised he came back to being a manager, but he's one guy I wouldn't have minded. TC Ace or Tats. But Francona would have been great. I would have loved to have Terry Francona. That guy would have been. I think he would have been great. VRJ40. Ronnie says he wants Tats. Boone does nothing to add to this team. If you sat a monkey in his place, it wouldn't be that much different. Francona, I really like Terry Francona. I do. I think that with this current team or teams of the past, I probably wouldn't have minded him. Tony La Russa. I'm not for it personally. That's just my humble opinion. The Yankees fired Boone, they'll hire Boone 2.0. I mean, maybe. Ken said he would personally pinch hit Bryce for Stanton and pinch hit Wells for Escara. You talking about La Russa there, Rodney? Rice for Stanton. I see where you're going with this. I see what you're saying. And Wells for Escara. I see what you're saying. Realistic Yankee fan says DFA Volpe. Bro, Volpe's been a letdown. He's been a letdown, man. I had no idea, Rodney. Craig Counsell. I don't think he would have been the guy. I don't know if he would have been the guy. Goodbye, Volpe, he says. Not many coaches like the Yankees. My only guess is Alex Cora. Yeah, but he'll be in Boston for a little while. But Francona would have been my guy. Like Francona would have been my choice. I do like Terry Francona. Sorry, Rodney. Well, you and many other Yankees fans there, realistic Yankee fan. Boston fans want Cora fired? I don't know why. Oh, Ken, I 100% agree. I knew where you were. I had a feeling that's where you're going with that. So no, I agree with you. So Aaron Boone. So according to Gary Phillips he posted this on X. Aaron Boone didn't have an update on Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt was supposed to go in for an MRI. There's no update. So if they announce Tommy John, don't be surprised. Yeah, well, they need bullpen arms, but they're not gonna make any moves yet. They're gonna wait this out. And their All-Star break is here in a couple of weeks. They're gonna wait this out. Unless we get surprised. But moves definitely have to be made. He might need Tommy John. Well, Schmidt was having trouble recovering from starts. So I remember there was a tweet about that. He was having some problems recovering from starts, and in one of his starts, he did pitch over 100 innings, which is not typical for him. And also, there's been games where he has been able to go 6-7 innings. Where last year that was really not the case. He wouldn't even smell the sixth inning. He would typically go 5 innings, and Yankees would take him out. But anyway, folks, I know I said I'd go on for a half hour, but I'm on for almost 1 hour. But quite a few of you popped in. I do appreciate it. But I'll ask one last question. It is the 4th of July. What are you all eating? What's on the menu? What are you all grilling? Let me know what you're all eating real quick. Steaks, burgers. I know some, folks like ribs. Like what are you all getting into? What kind of food? I agree, Rodney. What are you all eating for the 4th of July? And are you all going to go watch fireworks tonight? Realistic Yankee fan says pork. Let me know what you all are eating. Oh, my friend Jake Boss, what's up, man? Grilled burgers and no fireworks. Okay. Are there neighbors setting off fireworks, though? Celebrate today. I thought you was clean and sober. Our last free 4th. I am clean and sober. Barbecue steaks, beef sausage, burgers, dogs, and chicken. Okay. Plenty of food at Ken's house. Low key night. All right. Nothing wrong with that, Jake. Yeah. Looking at the Yankees schedule, they only had like 2. So last month, they only had 2 days off. And they had a long stretch of games without a day off. And that is taxing to the body. I don't care what anybody says. But hopefully this month with, they have a day off on Monday. Then they have 6 straight games after that. Then it's the All-Star break. Hopefully that's a good time for a lot of these guys to rest and reset, rest and recover. And then get ready to get back into the swing of things. We'll see how things pan out. And the schedule this month is not easy. It's not. You look at the month of August. I mean, on paper it's easier. I'll say it like that. On paper it's easier, but there's a few tough series. There's a couple of series there. That's going to be tough. A few series that's going to be tough, but there's a few teams that they should be able to beat. I'm rooting for you, Rodney. Boone is just different. When I say different, is that he will scratch the umpire's eyes out if they met. Boone does stand up for his players, man. He's not afraid to start yelling at umpires. He doesn't care if he gets thrown out of the game, man. That's what he's there for. That's he's getting his money's worth. 2 dozen lamb and vegetable kebabs. Wow, nice, Ken. Plenty of food. Yeah, but we'll see how things play out. We'll see how things play out. Yankees need to figure out this slump and get out of the slump. Clearly, right? I don't know what needs to happen. I don't know if there needs to be team meetings or what discussions they're having. Obviously, I'm not in the room. But 5-game losing streak. Can't let it go any further. But we'll see what happens in tomorrow's game. So just so everybody knows, Chef says he needs a chef in his life. Oh, man, he needs a break. But as far as tomorrow goes, folks, I will be live for the play-by-play tomorrow. That's also another afternoon game, but that's going to be at 4:10, I think, Eastern Standard Time. So I'll definitely be live for that game. So I'll go live. I'm going to do live play-by-play for that. Pre-game is a maybe. Don't hold me to it, but the pre-game is a maybe. Stay tuned for that. All right. But I will end the live stream here. Once again, I do appreciate all you guys and gals tuning in for the post game. The chat was on fire. I do appreciate every single one of you. Thank you to all the new subscribers. If you are watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. The like button does really help out the channel too. Share this channel out with everyone you know. All right. I greatly appreciate it. Everybody enjoy your 4th. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. Please be safe. Please be safe. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. All right. Enjoy the 4th. I'll see you all tomorrow. And as always, let's go Yankees.